And we're live. MMA Uncensored live. We're back, baby. Another week. First and foremost, I just wanted to give a very quick shout out and a thank you to last week's guest. We had a great time with Hector Lombard, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and I'm happy that we had him on the show. He made it. He made the show. I didn't have to do anything. It was an easy interview. I had to do no work. He did it all. So thank you, Hector. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsors, of course, that make the show happen. Nick and Nate Diaz with Game Up Nutrition for all your CBD needs, for your nutrition needs. Check them out, gameupnutrition.com. Also, Veteran Farms for your cannabis needs, especially, today's Cinco de Mayo. I know everybody's drinking margaritas, but, have a little puff too while you're at it. It's going to be a fun night, but check them out, Veteran Farms. I'm going to be scrolling all their information on screen, so don't worry about that. And also do us a favor, subscribe on YouTube. We want to get this show blasting out everywhere. So please, guys, do that for me as well. You can follow us on IG, MMA Uncensored, _, for your bare knuckle news, bare knuckle freak, and also my other podcast, which is a lot of fun, a lot of celebrities and just interesting people in general, Guy Think Podcast. But let's get the show started. Without further ado, I want to bring tonight's special guest on. Two-division boxing champion and probably, arguably, the best boxing analyst on the planet, Paulie Malignaggi. Paul.
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, Paul.
What are you doing over there?
Hey, I see you growing a beard for quarantine. Is that a quarantine beard or what is that?
Yeah, it's my, everybody else goes out to protest quarantine. I'm not getting sick. So instead of protesting and out there, I'm going to protest and not shave.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna get stopped at the airport with that beard, I think.
Nah, my mother tells me the same thing, but I tell her, no, Ma, I wear earrings. Actually, I don't even have them in now, but I said I wear earrings. So the terrorists, they don't wear earrings.
I've gotten stopped before. Like if I grow it a little thick.
Mm-hmm. They stopped me. They've stopped me actually in England, but not. I've never been stopped in the U.S. But in England,
what were you doing that you got stopped? It was just a random thing? Or?
Yeah, like they stopped me and like put me aside and like asked me a few questions. I think it was, they probably worried about like that terrorism and stuff, But yeah. they let me go. I've never been stopped in the U.S. though.
Thank God, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to miss your flight,
Oh, dude, especially everything that's going on now. That's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going to happen now. I mean, first, we got the shoes are coming off, the belts are coming off. You got to take half your clothes off. You got to get stopped. And then what's going to happen next? You're going to get like scanned with the thing to check your temperature now. I mean,
yeah, I know. But bro, you know what? I mean, I'd rather be safer than sorry, honestly. But it just makes it more tedious to travel. It makes it more annoying to travel. I mean, I'm not looking to die, so I'd rather be safer, and even if it takes longer. But I'll tell you, it does get more tedious. It was nicer back in the, when I was a kid in the 80s and we were going back and forth from Italy. And it was a lot. I remember my family used to walk me all the way to the gate, like they used to walk me and my mother and my father all the way to the gate. And then they, we get on the plane and leave.
The old
now
days,
you got to, the good old days,
Yeah. Now it's not happening. You got to wait outside in the parking lot now.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah, you know how it is. Fort Lauderdale. You're in Florida now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. I've been here. I got here March 9th. And I just decided to stay because I gotta keep a place down here. But I'm back and forth. I'm always back and forth anyway. But I just figured it was no need to go back to New York right now.
No, I don't blame you. I'd rather be in the sunshine too, man. Especially during
Yeah. I mean, they told me in New York the weather's getting better anyway, so people starting to go out and not listen to quarantine regardless. I think that's why they're just gonna open up regardless, because what are they gonna do? No, people don't listen anyway, so you might as well let people go back to work. If they're not gonna listen, might as well let them make money.
I just saw somebody post something on Facebook about everybody was watching some rocket taking off. NASA was talking about it. Everybody like bombarded this one bridge, and it's like thousands of people on this bridge. Like, what are you people doing? Could have been fake. I don't know, but it was like by quick glance. I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked either if it happened.
Who the fuck is going to space right now? Why would you be thinking about going to space when you got better things to worry about?
They're trying to get away from the murder hornets.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yo, bro. I don't know who it was that posted that today. It was I don't know if it might have actually been Hector. I don't know, like because Hector posts a lot of stuff.
He did
post it, right? The bee that killing the mouse. Yeah. Right. You saw that? You saw that, bro? I don't need that in my life. Who needs that in their life? Where do these things come from? And they kill bees. They kill regular bees too. Where'd they come from? These things. It's like a B on steroid. It's like a B on steroid. But if they were always out, how'd they get here? Right? I mean,
they got into somebody's luggage on the way here.
Yeah, now of all times, now you think that's the way. That's coincidence, bro.
I know, right? I don't know. Now it's time to go out, but now you're gonna get killed by a hornet.
Come on, that's what I'm saying, bro. You know, and they kill all the bees too. You kill the other bees, it says, and we need the bees. It's crazy. Anyway,
so what have you been doing during this quarantine since you've been down here?
Nothing. I'm just kind of chilling. You know, there's not a lot to do. Watch a lot of movies. You know, eating some food. You know, I'll go for a jog here and there so I don't get too fat. You know, but that's it. You know, there's not much to do. You know, but I say, you know, I'm also blessed that I can be down here. I don't have to be stuck up there and, you know, stressed out or whatnot. I tell you, it's not stressing. Like sometimes people are like, you know, we want to go out, I get it, but I'd rather be bored in my house than bored in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I also understand the people that want to go to work and have families to feed. I just think it's you're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, between going back and not going back, because there's people that have problems on both sides, unfortunately.
Sure, absolutely. And now, when you go back to New York, are you in Brooklyn also when you go back?
Yeah. I got a place in Brooklyn and a place in Long Island. So it depends on where I'm staying for the night, you know. But sometimes I'll stay in Brooklyn, sometimes I'll stay in Long Island, you know.
So you're originally from Bensonhurst like me?
Yeah, Bensonhurst. Yeah. That's where my house is in Brooklyn. I got out in Bensonhurst. And then I got a place in Island Park in Long Island, but I still keep a place in Bensonhurst. My grandparents are in Bensonhurst too, you know. So everybody else kind of left, you know. But I including you.
I've been down. Actually, August. I've been down here 20 years.
Yeah. When you got out, when you left, it was still kind of all right. It was all right still, you know. But like anybody that leaves now, I almost don't blame them, because there's no Bensonhurst feel anymore. As a matter of fact, I think I was telling you, I tell people, I was like, sometimes down here in Fort Lauderdale, actually feel like there's more Bensonhurst characters here than there are in Bensonhurst there are in Bensonhurst.
It's the sixth borough down here. A lot of people from New York move to South Florida.
And then you get like the ones from Boston and Philly and Chicago too. Right. And they're basically from Bensonhurst too, but like with different accents a little bit. It's the same kind of characters. So and Montreal, I found the whole cafe from Montreal. That was wild too. All in Pompano, these guys from Montreal, and I became friendly with them, and they're all basically like New York guys too.
Wow. Yeah, it's so cool. Like it's cool. It's diverse down here in Florida, which is nice. You get a lot of different,
absolutely
different backgrounds, which is really cool. I grew up in Bensonhurst. I lived on Cropsey Avenue for 15 years when I lived in New York, and then I moved down here when I was 17.
Okay, all right. So you went to high school up there. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Severian in Bay Ridge.
Oh yeah, Severian. You did tell me that. Yeah, I went to New Utrecht. But as a kid, I lived on Bath and 20th. So I was kid.
You were like in prime time area.
Yeah, but then as a teenager, I was at my grandparents' house on 16th and 80th, which is right by New Utrecht High School, where I went to high school, or where I was supposed to go to high school anyway. I didn't really end up going that much, unfortunately, but it's where it was. My high school was right there.
Andy Kelly says, "Yes, Paulie."
All right. Good stuff. Yes, sir.
So
go ahead, Andy. Good stuff.
So talking about Brooklyn, you were recently on the new TV show Gravesend. Willie DeMeo is a mutual friend as well.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good show. Anybody from Brooklyn, or at least from Bensonhurst, we kind of long for the old days. There's not really a lot of characters left. There's not a lot of the dynamic of the neighborhood left. So when you talk about 80s Bensonhurst, we kind of relate to that with when I was a kid in the 80s Bensonhurst, so I can remember it vaguely. I was born in 80, so I was basically a kid throughout the whole 80s, and then obviously the 90s. When you still had your general characters around in the neighborhood. Probably before the 80s was even better. I don't know. I wasn't around, but I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. If you bring up Bensonhurst in the 80s, there's a lot of great stories, a lot of cool people, and I think the Gravesend is basically something that takes place there, because unfortunately you could not make a show about Bensonhurst now. There's not, your general characters are basically out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe you had more crime and you had a little more rougher, but at the same time, I think a lot of successful people came from old New York. I don't necessarily. 100%. I don't necessarily think like the new New York is going to create more successful people. I think actually successful people move to the new New York, but they're not produced in the new New York. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Bensonhurst, just in Bensonhurst alone, besides myself, you had even bigger stars. You had like Scott Baio was from Bensonhurst.
You went to Severian too. for a year,
Yeah.
and then he moved to
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you know who else went to Severian? Chris Mullen, that former NBA player. Yep.
I remember when I had my orientation for Severian, I went there. They had this whole video, and Chris Mullen shooting free throws from behind his back.
Yeah. No, he was
funny.
nasty, bro. He was nasty.
He was.
I think now, because then he went to St. John, so he was total New York. I think now he's coaching St. John's actually. I think Chris Mullen's coaching St. John's now. Yeah.
And his brother was our basketball coach.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
So they kept the connection the whole time. They still have a good basketball program though. I remember my up in New York, my barber in New York. He shout out to Carlo is. He has a kid who got basically they give you like scholarships over there. Like they try to sign you for like their basketball program. It's not even college, and they were trying to pick him up. I think he's going there now. I think his son is actually on the team now at Severian.
I got Adam in here. He watched the show. He said, "Why did they kill you, lad, on the show over a bird? That was fucked."
That's how I know. That's how I know Adam. Oh, that's my boy Adam. I know Adam.
Oh.
That's my guy Adam. They killed me over a bird. I know.
I saw that. Dominic, you were
Dominic. Yeah.
How'd you get casted for that show? It was just Willie called you and said, "Hey,
Willie just hit me up. He said, "I think I got a good character for you. It would really fit you well. You play him well." And then the character winds up being some kind of lunatic. So I started wondering if maybe I don't come off so normal to a lot of people, But it was actually fun to play. It was fun to play the role, It's just,
I don't want to give it away, but
I didn't last
in the garage.
But at least I was basically one of the main beefs of the first show, so it was all right. It was cool.
Yeah, well, was that your first time in a show? Or?
No, I mean I've done I've actually was in Blue Bloods in one episode.
Cool.
I was in a show called Lights Out, which was a boxing show about 10 years ago. Holt McElhaney was the main character.
Oh, cool.
And it was a boxing show, but it only lasted one season. It had it had gotten great preview ratings, but then when it actually was on, I guess a lot of people weren't watching it. But I was in the last episode of that show as well, and then I've done still small shows, and then I was in a Nintendo commercial in 2009. I don't know if people remember when the new Tyson's Punch Out came out. Well, it wasn't Tyson's Punch Out anymore. But when the new Punch Out video game came out for Wii, I was Little Mac in the commercials. I would be like,
yes, I do remember that.
That was wild. That was wild, bro. Because I'd be watching MTV or something, and all of a sudden the commercial would go on, and it would be me, So it was that commercial played on TV for a good month, So that was pretty cool.
I do remember that. That's crazy.
And then there was I've done a couple little B movies, independent movies and stuff. So I've got a little bit of experience. I just never kind of chased it because I'm not really the kind of person that Hollywood is gonna love. You gotta be a bit liberalized these days. And that's not me. So I don't think I would fit in too well in Hollywood. So I don't really bother chasing a lot of the acting gigs. But if they come my way and they're fun, it's an experience. I definitely ain't getting rich off acting. That's for sure. I just kind of do it just as for a hobby, something to do, and it's something fun to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, anytime you can get on TV, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So we got a lot. I mean, it's been happening. I'm going to bring it up, the Conor McGregor thing. There's a lot going on recently, and I saw BJPenn.com. I saw ESPN Ringside recently, a couple of days.
Yeah,
now.
You know what it is with the internet now? Everything's basically like TMZ / Stone Magazine / National Enquirer. Everybody goes for the gossip right away. You know what I'm saying? So it catches fire. It catches fire right away.
It does, and
I gotta be honest. I caught a lot of heat. This is, I always tell you, MMA fans are not the brightest bulbs out of in the set, not the sharpest tools in the drawer. But I'll be honest. I was actually surprised at how many were dumb enough to actually think that interview where I'm wearing the red hat was recent. They were coming at me like I said that interview was 3 years ago, bro. That interview was when it happened. Right. Yeah, when it happened. Which is how long has it been now? Couple of years, 2-3 years. So I was yo, these people are dumber than I thought. I was you've seen this interview for sure. They've seen this interview because they were all over the interviews back then. You know what I'm saying? So you're reacting to an interview you've probably already seen, like it just happened again. This is WWF style fans. You know what I mean? Where they know it's fake, but they keep on going. You know what I mean? Not that the kind of wouldn't be for me it's fake because it's not, but They got excited all over again. I thought it was pretty funny,
Yeah, some people like caught it. I saw some comments of like, "Hey, this was from a while ago," but we're building up the episode. We want to make
of course,
sure.
bro, you got to do what you got to do. Of course, 100%. But and plus for me, I was getting a kick out of it because for me, it's like whatever. You're gonna say what you're gonna say about it. But for me, people getting riled up. Like honestly, I think if I bad talk these people's mothers, I think they'd be less offended. Some of these people, the way they get offended, I think I could talk bad about their mothers and they'd be less offended than for a guy who they don't even know. Like, think about that.
Why do you feel that way about the MMA fans? Like they're not bright?
Because you know what? I'll tell you what. I remember before the whole Conor McGregor thing, I was the one who was actually really lobbying. I was the only non-MMA guy who was really lobbying for MMA to get the Ali Act, enacted for MMA. I remember there was guys like Kung Lee, Randy Couture. They were obviously pushing for it, and I remember on my social media, even on my Twitter at the time, I was pushing some stuff too, like I was making my own comments. If I would get interviewed and asked about it, I would make sure I spoke my thoughts because I really felt that, fighters in general need to be compensated in a correct way, in the right way, and I think with the Ali Act, it sort of allows a promoter or a company in this case, because in MMA promotions, they're exclusive, not like boxing, but and I felt like it gave an opportunity for a guy like Dana White to create a monopoly. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's been fought on that, but so I felt like with the Ali Act, you're kind of giving people an opportunity to make more money because you're seeing all the books. You have to see all the records. I mean, these guys in MMA, in the UFC, essentially, you have to take what you get and that's it, and even if you're a major star, you're not going to really, you don't really have a say because I wouldn't say they're not the only game in town anymore, but they're still the biggest game in town because for a long time they were the only game in town. They bought everybody out. So I thought like, I felt like it was unfair to the fighters, and I was kind of lobbying for it. I was lobbying for it. I was getting behind it, and I didn't do it for appreciation because I really didn't. It was no dirt off my back, regardless. But I felt like everybody completely forgot about that when the McGregor thing happened, and then all of a sudden, like I was like, and even when I saw fighters getting on my back, then I thought like when I saw guys like Max Holloway getting offended, like bro. What are you mad about? Like Max Holloway was mad. I think maybe Max Holloway was mad that I fucked up Conor and Conor beat him. I don't know where he got offended from to begin with. But guys like Max Holloway were getting offended with my beef with McGregor. So all of a sudden, I was actually lobbying for you guys at one time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was actually pushing for you guys at one time. And then I was like, all right, this is kind of weird. These people are getting kind of weird because now it comes down to common sense. At first, I get it. Joe, I get it. Like at first, like, you get the whole highlight video and you're in the moment. I get it. I mean, even me, when I saw the highlight video, I was like, yo, this is not how it happened. How did he even make it look like this? Then I had to analyze it, and nobody's going to analyze it like I will, obviously, because I'm personally in the video, So I was like, because it did. Nobody even questioned if it was a knockdown when we actually sparred. Like it was like so nothing. Like it was like first of all, Conor had a referee. I mean, I don't know if you guys know
it was
that.
Joe Cortez was the referee for that.
Conor, Joe, go ahead.
From what I've heard, the first day I think you guys did like 6 or 8 rounds from what I heard. Then the next day was 12 rounds.
Not the next day. Unfortunately, I had to go back for a week because I had to work. I still remember the fight. I had to work Mikey Garcia versus Adrian Broner.
Okay.
So they called me on like 3 days' notice. I think they called me on Monday of the week of the week before the Broner fight. I think the Broner, if I remember correctly, Garcia Broner was July 29th. So they called me they called me the Monday prior to the Saturday of July 22nd. So what is that? July 17th, 18th, whatever. And they wanted me there in a few days. And I remember I told them, I said, ironically, who called me, who works for Conor, was Jerry Byrne. And Jerry Byrne is actually Adam's cousin. Adam basically disowned his own cousin because he knows the real deal. Wow. Like Adam, my boy, that left the comment. So he won't even talk to his own cousin because he knows the deal. So Jerry hits me up, and I was friends with Jerry's brother at the time. Dean. I used to train with him in LA. So obviously I didn't have a relationship with Jerry, but Jerry was kind of like the correspondent to me because of the connection I had with Dean. So Jerry called me on the Monday, and he's like, "Yo, we need you to come spar." And he hadn't called me honestly in like a month, maybe even more than that. Like at first he hit me up, said we're thinking about having you come spar. I'm like, all right, let me know. If you give me, let me know, and I'll get in some shape, because honestly I had retired a few months before and I wasn't training. And then I remember I ran for like a week, and then this guy didn't call me, and he didn't keep me up to date. So I was like, fuck that, what am I gonna do? If they didn't call me, they didn't call me.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at how this happened.
Just pop that up for you there.
So they didn't call me. I mean, I stopped training. I mean, I'm retired. I want to enjoy retirement. Plus, what was happening too, if you remember, Joe, was the press tour. You remember the press tour? And I got hired to work the press tour. I got hired on that press tour. So
you were technically Conor's team at that point still, right?
I was not Conor's team on the press tour. Like Jerry had hit me up. He asked me to come spar. He got my number from Dean, and I was like, okay, yeah, let me know, and I'll get in some shape. So he's like, all right, yeah, we're thinking about it. Then he never contacted me back. So I ran for like a week, a few days, a week. And then when he didn't contact me back, I stopped training, because, again, I just retired. So, like, I want some time off. I want to chill, So, like I said, I'd been off for a couple of months already. So then the press tour starts. So I'm thinking even more like, all right, so I'm just going to work this as a broadcaster, which is fine, And I saw I was on the press tour for 3 cities. I think I didn't go to London. I did Toronto. I did LA, Toronto, and New York. I think if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I did LA, Toronto, and New York. And then I didn't do the London leg of it. And they knew I was working the press tour, and nobody hit me up saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to use you." So, like I said, with that kind of doubled down on the fact that, they didn't need me, which was fine with me.
So after, what we saw,
so it's been like a month. It's been like a month and a half before he hits me up,
Okay.
And then he hits me up on the Monday. He tells me he needs me right away. I'm like, bro, I'm working next week. I was like, why don't you just have me over after the Broner fight? He's like, he calls me back after that again, and he's like, no, we need you like in a couple of days. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm thinking to myself, I've done training camps. You do 3-4 rounds with each sparring partner, essentially, because you want them always fresh. Me, I want it. And most champions, what we do 2-3 rounds with a fresh guy. Then we bring in another fresh guy. We stay.
Tank style. You throw.
Yes, exactly. Because you're the one fighting for a championship, not your sparring partners.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? Even if I'm not in great shape for a couple of rounds, I'm fine. Instead, he asked me to do 8 on Thursday. We did 8. It's fine.
How'd that go? The 8 on Thursday.
The 8 on Thursday was kind of uneventful. He talked a lot of shit, though, I remember. So I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of serious. Like, not that I didn't expect him to be serious. He's training for a fight. But I kind of looked at it like, I kind of approached it like a sparring partner. Like, give him some rounds, give him some different looks. Don't go crazy because you're not really in shape. And, whatever it is, it is. I remember he did 8 rounds. And it was fine. But like I said, it wasn't one of those like get out of hand type of shits. And as a matter of fact, after that, he was actually friendly. He actually hit me up. He comes up to me after the spar, and he was like, "Hey, listen, we want you to stay for camp." I'm like, "Listen, bro, I came here. I'm here. Just let me know." It was fine. Okay. And we were supposed to spar again Saturday because I was leaving on Sunday because I had to work Monday to Saturday. Because when we do a fight week, we work the whole week, Right. And the next week was a fight week. So on Saturday he changes his mind. He didn't want to spar. So which I didn't complain, whatever, I'm there. I actually watched them spar, who's this amateur kid? This amateur kid, it's Irish kid. If he could have blown Conor, if Conor would have pulled out his cock, this kid would have blown him 100%. I have no doubts in my mind. His name's Tiernan Bradley. Tiernan Bradley's name is. If Conor would have pulled out his cock in front of him, he would have blown him 100%. So I mean, he sparred him, and it was kind of like a touch sparring, and then he sparred Rish. Who did he spar? The other sparring partner, they came in California. He's actually a good kid, a journeyman boxer. Deshaun Johnson. Oh, Deshaun Johnson. Yeah, he sparred Deshaun. Okay. And so he did a few rounds with them, and then I left Sunday. I mean, that was it. I saw the sparring. It was kind of what I was work. And I remember with Deshaun, I remember the work because whoever didn't spar has to work the corner. I remember with Deshaun, like Deshaun taking it way too easy on him, and I was kind of pushing him, and he wasn't giving me like anything I was telling him. So so I'm yelling during the rounds like, yeah, this, whatever, giving instructions. He comes out of the ring after, and he pulls me aside like angry, like Deshaun was pissed, and I'm like, the fuck, bro, what's wrong with you? He's cool. Me and Deshaun were cool. He's like, listen to me, bro. He goes,
I'm getting paid to be here. I'm like, yeah, I get it. They're gonna pay me too. What's the deal? He goes, I don't want to get sent home. Okay, I don't want. I've been a sparring partner for a lot of training camps. He goes, you haven't. This is your first camp. I was like, well, honestly, I've never been a sparring partner before. So he's like, you have it. If I don't need to be fucking this guy up and get sent home. Okay, I know what I'm doing in there. I just gotta give him the rounds. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of sparring partners. I've heard of sparring partners getting sent home if the work is not right for the guy in camp. But I'm like, but in my mind, I'm like, this guy's fighting Mayweather though. Like if he can't handle Deshaun Johnson, where the fuck are we going with this whole promotion? But I was like, all right, whatever. And I left Sunday, and I was gone all week, and that was it. So then I came back, and the story.
Yeah, so you're in the ring. Obviously, we only saw that little clip. Joe Rogan made a good point. Joe Rogan said, well, why would they just show that one clip if you really got your ass beat for 12 rounds? Why don't they show more stuff, like a 1-minute montage of just different looks? And
you don't even have, the best is not only doesn't he have a 1-minute montage, because even a 1-minute montage for 36 minutes, you can probably find it, except if it's got to do with Conor. Conor probably doesn't even have a 1-minute montage in those 36 minutes. That's how bad he did. But I'll tell you what really would prove it. If you could give yourself like 20 seconds consecutively of any round, pick any round and give yourself 20 straight seconds. Don't edit it. Don't change the camera angle, and don't go jump to another round like they did with the footage they did. Just give me 20 seconds straight of any round, and you won't find a single dominant cycle of 20 seconds straight of him. You won't find a single one. Like, so he needs to like take a clip of here and a clip of here, which is what he did. The left hand that you see landing in that clip is not from the round where I trip up. It's from a different round. If you notice, he hits me with that left hand, and then he kind of pushes me into the ropes, and then I kind of fall into the ropes, and the tape cuts to when we're in the center ring because it goes to a different round. So in the center round, in that clip, which is another 3-4 seconds, nothing's landing. Nothing's landing. And you can tell the difference in sound because when he lands the left hand, you can hear the sound of the left hand landing. Besides, obviously, you can see it. Nothing sounds like that when I go down. It's all like leather sliding off my shoulders and grazing. Like you can tell when leather lands and when leather slides, because we got Vaseline on. The portion of video where I'm going down, everything's sliding. There's nothing landing there, So it's kind of obvious. And I thought like, okay, this is great to sell it, whatever. I get it. I was pissed. Obviously, it was great to sell it. But I knew he wasn't going to show the full spar. Remember at first what they sold everybody as, we're going to show the full spar after the fight. We don't want Mayweather to see what we're going to do. As if it really fucking mattered. Bro, you could watch Mayweather train every day. You're still not going to beat him,
Yeah,
but,
he's tough.
but they said, oh, we're going to release it after the camp. And I was already telling people, bro, they're not going to release anything after the fight. You know what I mean? There's no way they're going to release it because Mayweather's going to fuck him up. What he's going to do, release a sparring session where he got fucked up too? Like it's going to be a bad look for him. So there's no shot at him releasing this video.
What about Joe Cortez? Has anybody talked to him about it?
Joe is kind of I guess on a gag order. Joe didn't want to burst anybody. Joe didn't want to talk too much because Joe had also signed the NDA and he got paid. And I didn't even take my money when I left, because I don't really need it, like. And honestly, I was so turned off. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to take your money for?
I'd really be interested to hear what Joe Cortez.
But Joe won't talk. Joe won't talk. Joe won't. The people that I know somebody. I know somebody that was that manages Guido Vianello and the other heavyweight from England. Who's the up and coming heavyweight from England? He signed to Frank Warren. I forgot his name. Light skinned black kid. But anyway, he manages them. His name's Sam Jones. And Joe Cortez was up in camp with them. And he told me, he'll tell you, Joe told him the whole story. You know what I'm saying? And he was fucking laughing about it. Like, bro, Joe told me the whole story. But publicly, Joe won't talk, But Sam came up to me, he goes, bro, Joe told me the whole story. He goes, you fucking that guy up. I'm like, yeah, but Joe won't say it publicly, bro. So it kind of asses me out, so he was laughing.
I would love to talk to him about it, man.
Oh, Sam's a character. You got to find him on Instagram. He's like Sam Jones,
Cool.
He's a character. I don't know if his name is Sam Jones on Instagram though, because honestly, Jones is kind of a common name. So, but I follow him. I'll send you his page.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a character himself. But anyway, he's managed a few fighters, and he's friends with Tyson Fury too as well. So they were all up in the camp together with all heavyweights, and Joe was up there, and he was telling me at their conversation they had and shit. But it was funny because besides all that, the only other person that was there that isn't gonna shit on me because everybody else was like his boys is Deshaun. Deshaun, if you notice, Deshaun hasn't spoken about it because he doesn't want to get on their bad side because they paid him. They paid him. So obviously he doesn't want to burn his bridge. But at the same time, he knows the truth, so he's not going to speak about it. Everybody else is there to blow him. including his trainers. They're all there to blow the guy. So like they don't actually train him. You know, it's like a blowjob session. It's like a porno session. You know, they stroke him. You know, like basically like let him feel good, stroke his ego, tell him he's great, all this other shit. It was the weirdest camp setup I ever saw in my life. Because this guy then would post videos like when he's running on the treadmill underwater and he's bicycling like 20 miles. So obviously, you know, like you know from a conditioning standpoint, he's getting in shape. You know, like. Right. Which is why there's no excuse for him getting tired in the fight. He's getting in shape from a conditioning standpoint, but your mind makes you tired. When you're weak mentally, of course you're going to get tired, you know?
Yeah, I was going to ask you in the ring, like, did you notice any power from Conor when you were in the he hits like
a grown man. I can't tell you he hits like my sister because, you know, it's like no grown man hits like my sister. But you know, like, because it was a couple times where I was like, yeah, he hits like my sister. Listen, he's a grown man. You know, when a grown man hits you, but it wasn't like wow power. It wasn't like I sparred guys. I've done a lot of sparring in my life. I've done thousands of rounds at so many different fighters, and you know, and especially with 16-ounce gloves and a headgear, you gotta have like really, really special power to really get somebody's attention. Not that they ever feel good, because they don't, but you gotta have really special power to get somebody's attention. And Conor didn't have that special power, but he hits like a grown man. You know, it's fine. I mean, listen, that left hand on the video that he put out, that's in round 12. That's in round 12, and I'm kind of tired in round 12. I'll be honest. 11 and 12, I was actually really tired because I wasn't even in shape. And the fact that I went 12 rounds kind of speaks for itself. The only way I'm going 12 rounds is if I'm the one in control, you know. But regardless, if 11 and 12, I was still kind of tired, and he hits me with that left hand around 12, and you know, you see it didn't really do much. You know, he pushed me off to the ropes. I was tired, but then, like I said, then the clip changes to a different round. But nonetheless, you know, it wasn't like this unbelievable power. It wasn't like this whole like, but you know, he's a grown man. You know, you get in there, you work, and he's a grown man. And you know, if he lands a good shot, you know, you're like, oh, you know, it's a good shot. But he wasn't landing very clean, very much. You know, he only landed a handful of left hands in 12 rounds, and maybe a couple uppercuts. You know, on the inside. But honestly, every time I would get close to him, he would hold, because he, you know, MMA guys, I guess their instinct is to grab when it's close range. You know.
Right. And now we watched the Mayweather fight. We see that, you know, Conor definitely had some cardio issues in that fight.
I give him credit, though. I thought he was going to spend. No, I give him credit in a different way than everybody else. I don't give him credit for lasting, because Mayweather let him last. But I'll tell you what, I give him credit. I thought he was going to spend the whole fight hugging, because in the sparring we had, anytime I would get close, he would grab a hold of me and just hug me. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't know how to. He has no clue how to fight inside. So anytime I would get close enough where I was planning to bang him a little bit, he would just grab me. So we were basically boxing on the outside. And let's face it, Conor McGregor is not out boxing Paulie Malignaggi on the outside. I spent my whole career boxing on the outside. But that's his only ability was to box on the outside. He couldn't really box on the inside, so he just grab a hold of me. So I was actually worried when the fight came that he would get himself disqualified for holding too much, you know? So when the fight came, he didn't do a lot of holding. So that's where I give him credit. He was actually, you know, I mean, he fought in a weird way where he was like, he fought like he didn't even believe in his own power. So I guess like in the back of his mind, he knew I was right, you know, because he never stood his ground against Floyd. He backed up the whole way. He threw these pity pat punches, like where a boxer knows when you're throwing punches like that, you're just trying to survive. You're not trying to win, you know? So he was basically throwing punches that were like allowing him to survive the rounds. Because it's like he always knew, like, if I can go deep into some rounds, I'll get some credit, you know? So he himself never really believed in his own power, because I think he himself knew deep in his mind that I was kind of telling the truth, you know,
so
about his power.
So did you feel that his cardio was better when he was in the Mayweather fight, or when you guys were sparring the 12 rounds?
No, his cardio was basically the same. It's just with me, I couldn't push the issue as much as Floyd because I wasn't in shape. So basically, I'll tell you, the reason I was able to go 12 rounds in that kind of shape was because I controlled the pace. So basically, I would land the shot, or I would land the combination, and usually I would follow up with like another shot or cut off the ring and get in your face and throw more punches. Right. But I can do that when I'm in shape, because follow-up attacks are basically for guys that are in shape, you know? In reality, when I was landing shots in that sparring, I was using it just to give myself a break, because Conor wouldn't attack, you know, like he would attack in spots. Okay. So I couldn't push the issue as much as I wanted to. Otherwise, he would have got stopped for sure. And even in the sparring, he would have got stopped because his conditioning issues were always relevant. But at the same time, I had conditioning issues if I'm in that camp. And so I used any shots I landed to kind of give myself a break. So it wasn't that fast of a pace sparring session. It was like good spots, no spots, action spots, no spots, action spots, no spots. But that's basically the only way I was going to go 12 rounds. For me personally, I devised it that way so I could go 12 rounds. For him, he's the one that's supposed to be in shape. He should have probably pushed the issue, and maybe he actually would have stopped me, but just on conditioning alone. Because who the fuck makes a sparring partner go 12 rounds? I've never made any of my sparring partners go 12 rounds. Right. So he could have probably stopped me had he pushed the issue, but he didn't, because I guess he had his own conditioning issues.
So let's say Paulie Malignaggi, Conor McGregor trained for a boxing match. A fully trained Paulie Malignaggi versus Conor McGregor, 10, 12 rounds, legit.
He gets stopped because mentally he's too mentally weak. He gets stopped because I also know how to mentally pressure you and cut the ring off and break you down. Like, watch my fight, for example, with Zab Judah. For instance, Zab is a southpaw, much better southpaw than McGregor, by the way. I'm coming forward, but I'm not always attacking. But I'm mentally trying to break Zab by cutting the ring off, staying in his face, even if I'm not attacking physically all the time. Basically, you do that to Conor. As a matter of fact, I was in a locker room with Floyd after the fight. And I asked Floyd, I said, bro, what was up with you not cutting off the ring? What was that about? He goes, bro, I had to. He goes, if I cut off the ring, I'm going to stop him in a few rounds. He goes, I needed to give a show. I was like, wow. That's fucking wild. Because if you cut off the ring on Conor, his own panic is going to make him even more tired. But Floyd didn't cut off the ring. He just followed him around the ring. And Floyd obviously has experience to cut off the ring. You watch all the fights, he cuts off the ring in spots, So I was like, wow, by not cutting off the ring, it gave Conor escape routes to last a few rounds longer. I was like, wow, this is wild. And the whole time, even when I was in camp and Deshaun's telling me like he can't attack him that much, all these things triggered thoughts in my mind like, wow, this was a hundreds of $1 million fight. These fans are all dumb enough to have bought into it to this extent. I was working the fight, so even after the camp I left camp, I couldn't shit on the guy the same way because my boss was like, listen, bro, we got to sell pay-per-views. So you got to kind of play it in the middle. So I was like stuck between a rock and a hard place because I'm like, this is the biggest joke fight I ever thought of in my life. And yet I can't shit on it because I work for the company that's producing the pay-per-view. So it's like, I was stuck. So it was what it was.
I got a question from Andy Kelly. Said, Paulie, what round would you knock McGregor out in?
No, I could listen. I know I'm not a big puncher, so it wouldn't be about a round. I just think the psychological aspect of it would break him down, like cutting off the ring, landing my shots, obviously in my spots, cutting off the ring. He'll eventually just kind of give himself away. You know what I'm saying? And then I can up the ante a little bit, take more chances, and start to stop him. So probably wouldn't be an early stoppage, I don't think. But I think I would stop him just because Conor doesn't like to be uncomfortable. I pulled his card. And he proves me right every time. He doesn't like to be uncomfortable. A fighter is a fighter, even whether he's dominating or whether he's uncomfortable. You bring the fighter out inside you. That's why all this shit about Conor, like, I'm not talented, I'm obsessed. You're not obsessed, bro. You're a bullshit artist. As soon as you get your ass kicked, you're looking for a way out of the fight. You know what I mean? You're a bully. You know what I mean? If you're doing good, you're all right. If you're not doing good, you're looking for a way out of the fight. Did you watch the Khabib fight, Joe?
Yes, I did.
My brother does jiu-jitsu. My brother's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. My brother brought out a good point, okay? Because in boxing, I can tell when somebody's surviving and somebody's fighting. My brother said, everybody thinks he had a good first round with Khabib because he nullified him. He didn't, but my brother's jiu-jitsu. My brother goes, he didn't attempt a single offensive jiu-jitsu move in the whole first round. He basically fought the entire first round, survived, and trying to prevent Khabib from submitting him. So you talked all that shit. You threw some through a bus. You talk shit about his family, his country. Then you come out around one and you start surviving from the first second of the fight. So you knew you weren't gonna win from the first second of the fight. And then basically everybody bought your bullshit, and they still buy his bullshit. But I love pulling his card. Like I said, I love when I catch somebody being a bullshit. I'm from Brooklyn, bro. When I know somebody's bullshitting or throwing wolf tickets, I'll fucking pull your card right away, bro. Because I know who I am.
Well, let me ask you this: if the opportunity arose, would you accept a boxing match against Conor McGregor?
Only until I'm 40 years old, and only if it's winner takes all. Because now you got my name dragged through the mud so much that he can beat me, and I don't have a chance. That the winner would have to take the whole pot. And I don't think people understand. Because I saw a comment the other day saying that wouldn't be that much because Cerrone or something like that. I'm like, first of all, the Cerrone fight, if winner takes all, that means he gets Cerrone purse and his own purse. Right. If I don't know if people understand what winner takes all means. So winner takes all means the winner takes the whole thing. Now commissions won't allow winner takes all, so you have to make like a sort of a deal where the loser gets $50,000. You know what I mean, or $25,000. So that's basically as close as you're gonna get to winner takes all because by commission rules, both fighters need to be compensated. So basically, the entire pot goes to the winner, with the exception of maybe $25,000. The loser gets a $25,000 purse. You know, that we can do it like that. And that's realistic. Winner takes all is not realistic, but $25,000 only to the loser and the rest of the money involved goes to the winner. That's realistic. That's the only way he's getting the fight at this point, because at this point he's got everybody convinced. So he's got to put that on the line.
So,
which is why it'll never happen, mind you. There's no shot it'll ever happen. That's why. Go ahead. No,
the recent rumors, aside from, you know, Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor, they're talking about Khabib and Conor, you know, going head to head again. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on that fight if that fight happens?
I mean, like I said, everybody saw the first fight. He basically fought it to survive. I mean, if you want to watch somebody with a journeyman mentality against somebody with a champion mentality, we've already seen that in the first Khabib McGregor fight. You know, Khabib fought with a champion mentality. He fought to win the fight. He fought aggressive, and you could tell he had victory on his mind. McGregor fought with a journeyman mentality. I don't know if you guys have journeymen in MMA, but in boxing, there's those journeymen who kind of come in and give you rounds and just try to survive and try to give you enough rounds to where they look good so they can maybe pick up a check this night and then maybe pick up a check the next month against somebody else, you know? So McGregor, you already saw the champion mentality against the journeyman mentality. Why would you want to see that again? You know, you'd rather see Khabib against Tony Ferguson or even I'd say even Diaz. If Nate Diaz always goes out fighting regardless, you know what I'm saying? Like whether he wins or loses, Nate's never you never see Nate taking on that journeyman mentality. Like he's gonna go out flying. He's gonna go out flying, you know. So you know, give me somebody that's gonna try to win the whole way, even if they're going to wind up submitted by Khabib, because obviously Khabib is a top dog, but give me somebody that's going to try to win the whole time. Who wants to watch a guy try to survive against Khabib after talking shit to all the press conferences? You know, like that's kind of clown shit. You know.
So what do you think happens in the next fight? Khabib wins again?
Yeah, I think Khabib submits him without a doubt. You know, yeah, because Conor at a certain point in the fight, you see how he knows how to survive. He knows how to avoid getting submitted in round 1. Right. But by round 4, he's getting the shit beat out of him so bad he doesn't even want to survive anymore. You know what I mean? He's just like, yo, let me wind up in this submission. Let me not fight it off as much. Because that's the good thing about MMA, at least for the convenient thing about MMA. Listen, fighters are fighters, and I'll give respect to any combat. But in MMA, you can fight your way to prevent yourself from being in a submission, or you can half-ass it so that you wind up in that submission without people noticing you're actually quitting. Because then once you're in the submission, the tap is obviously necessary and the tap is accepted. So, like, for me, if you notice round 2 of the fight, Conor was already trying to give his back to Khabib in round 2. And Khabib was actually like holding him straight while on top of him and ground and pounding him, you know? So Conor was already trying to quit from round 2. And by round 4, you know, he ended up, you know, eventually quitting, you know, but for me, who wants to see that? You know, who wants to see a guy come in, talk all this shit? Yeah, you know what? I'll admit, nobody promotes a fight like McGregor, you know, like not too many guys, you know? So, yeah, so talk all this shit.
He's great at promoting.
But if you want to watch WWF, go watch WWE, whatever it's called now, go watch that. You know what I mean? You got guys that'll talk a bunch of shit, and then, you know, they have their script already out there. You know, like, you already know what the guy's going to do, no matter what he's talking about. And then he insults, like, your personal shit. Like, he insulted the guy's religion, the guy's nationality. He insults, like, personal shit. You know, he threw a chair through the guy's bus.
That was kind of
like
crazy.
You can't do that.
That's a good way to sell a fight, man.
Of course, but you can't do that
at that point.
Yeah, of course, but you can't do that and then bitch up in the fight. Like, you know, you got to take it. I'm telling you, I don't know if you probably saw that Khabib spit at him when they stopped the fight. You know what I mean? Like, you see Khabib's like head go forward.
After that fight.
So you don't think that Khabib, even if he would have beat him, would have respected him as a man if Conor would have took his beating like a man instead of trying to quit right away? You know, like even in victory, even if you don't like somebody, there's a respect factor there when you know they manned up and they fought you to the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, after all that shit, this guy looked for a way out from round 2 on. You know, like, you can't respect that. That's punk bitch shit. You know, like, that's tough. It's tough.
So I appreciate your insight on that. I wanted to actually ask you a couple I'm going to bring up some names. So I want to get first thing that comes to mind when I throw these names at you.
Okay.
Tyson Fury.
Best heavyweight.
Best heavyweight. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. He's amazing.
For me, I mean, I've said I thought so before the second Wilder fight, but I thought in the second Wilder fight he really cemented himself. And I like Joshua, and I think Wilder's also among the best heavyweights in the world. But I just don't think anybody beats Tyson Fury right now. He moves for a much lighter guy, yet he's a 6'9" guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy. It's very you got these big cumbersome heavyweights in this generation, and a lot of them don't move very well. I mean, I remember Beluev, if you remember, like about a decade ago, he was about 7 feet tall, but he was very cumbersome, very clumsy.
Remember when Holyfield fought him?
Yeah, and
That was
Holyfield, they could have gave Holyfield the fight. It was that close, you know. Like Bellew, the size of a big fighter will intrigue people, but the problem with being that big is you cannot be that athletic. So Tyson Fury's like, he breaks the mold. Like, you're never gonna see a guy that big be that athletic again. I don't think it's possible. Honestly, if you would have told me before I saw Fury if that's possible, I would have told you, nah, that's impossible. No, you can't be that big and be that athletic. So to have Fury be that athletic and then be that big, it's too much to deal with, even for heavyweight. It's like he's like in his own weight class, essentially. You know, he's too much to deal with.
Yeah. What about Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson, for me, was one of my favorites as a kid. Obviously, from Brooklyn, myself. I always have a theory about Mike Tyson for 80s kids anyway. You know, when you're a kid, you're very impressionable. You're very, things really stand out to you. There's certain things as I was a kid, you know, certain people, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, certain people when I was a kid, Diego Armando Maradona, if you're a soccer fan.
Sure.
Hulk Hogan, you know, Mr. T, you know, there's certain people, Rocky, you know,
let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah. You know, so like when you're a kid, there are certain things that are more impressionable to you. So I was a kid during the Tyson era, and I'm talking about kid like from 7 to like 10, because before that you're too young to be understanding. But 7 to 10, you start to kind of understand things. You really don't, but you kind of start to think you do. So I saw the Mike Tyson monster era from when I was 7 to 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like, so for me, I think I'm always going to be biased towards Tyson because of that. And I think anybody in my generation will be biased towards Tyson because the spectacle that he was for kids, he was like a superhero. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe that's what McGregor is for a lot of these guys today. The problem with McGregor fans is a lot of them are adults, so you don't get that excuse. Like you start to realize when you're like 15, 16 that, all right, you know, maybe there's, you know, there's no Superman, but we're going to respect them anyway. Like, you know, if you're like 7 to 10 years old and you came up in the McGregor era, I'll tell you, I can see you looking at him like I saw Mike Tyson. But like, if you're like 40 years old and you're looking at McGregor like that, you maybe, I don't know, maybe you're gay, but not that I'm saying anything's wrong with that, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a grown man can look at things like that, you know? But yes, Mike Tyson for sure had that impression on me.
What do you think about the rumors of his comeback, 53 years old?
I think, you know, I don't think it's a bad idea if he does like some exhibition fights. You know, like people saw the pad work Tyson did, and impressive, obviously impressive for a 53-year-old man. But one thing that is not great for you when you're older is your ability to take punishment. And obviously, if you're boxing and you're boxing for a long time, or for a lot of rounds, you know, your ability to take punishment throughout the rounds is very much diminished than when you were in your prime, you know? So I think Tyson would be fun to watch for 3-4 round exhibitions. Yeah. But I think after 3-4 rounds, he'd be, you know, I think it would be tough even on Mike, regardless of how impressive he looks at the combination punching, because boxing, you also get hit back too. You know, in fighting, you get hit back too. So I think your ability to take the shots back, it kind of diminishes. But yeah, man, you know, who wouldn't want to watch Mike Tyson for 3-4 rounds? Especially the people that didn't get to watch him like I watched him, like we watched him, like, you know, like that you were in that era, you know, you only heard about him, you know, you'd probably be curious, you know, so it's pretty cool just to see the 3-4 rounds because I'll tell you what, you can always see video, but there's nothing like waking up the day of a fight when you don't know the result. You know what I'm saying? You can always watch. YouTube is amazing. Even when I watch Ali, but I always wonder what it must have been like to wake up the morning of an Ali fight. You know, or I know what it's like to wake up the morning of a Mike Tyson fight when he was in his prime. It was like you're buzzing from the morning on, bro. You're going crazy already. You know, like especially as a kid, or even like I said, I'll give McGregor that credit for the MMA fans. You know, to wake up the morning of a McGregor fight. For those MMA fans that were like that, they're diehard MMA fans. You know, it's like. You're buzzing from the moment your day starts, you know.
Yes, it's not like fight week, man.
So I think, like, you know, for those people that didn't get the experience of a Mike Tyson, I mean, is it going to be the same? No, absolutely not. But you know, it'll be a little taste of a Mike Tyson exhibition. So I wouldn't be against seeing it if Mike wants to do it.
What about BKFC president David Feldman?
I'll tell you what, man of his word, honorable. You know, for me. Everything Dave promised me, we got it. He's got his own thing going, and he's running a good show. I think he's grown the brand. He's made strides, and he makes the effort. You know, from the moment I saw Dave, he was trying to get me to fight. You know, and obviously at first I wasn't going for it. You know, then when he signed Artem and all that, you know, there's the whole beef behind the McGregor thing and everything, and it was like a chant. And I'm like, and he presented to me. And I might have even asked him about it actually. I just saw all the pieces coming together. Like this will be a wild promotion. You know, this will be like, you know what? And Dave obviously knows that too. So I give Dave credit, man. Smart guy.
That's great, man. That's great. What about Dana White?
Dana is, I'll tell you, Dana's not a dumb guy. I mean, if I call him a smart guy, I'd be complimenting him, which kind of I don't want to do. But he's smart, but he's smart in an evil way. You know what I'm saying? When you're smart in an evil way, you kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody knows the story of the UFC or how it was. You know, like I don't know if you heard the story of how he bought the UFC or the whole story. I don't know. Do the fans at home know? Because everybody thinks like Dana's this genius. It's not really genius. He kind of moved in on a power move.
Why don't you let the fans know?
Okay, so the original owner of the UFC, we don't even know his name, unfortunately. At least I don't. And he owned this company that was basically just tanking, because they couldn't get it okayed in like the big states, like Nevada, like New York. New York actually didn't okay MMA for a while, but they couldn't get it okayed in basically Nevada, where you needed it to really take a push off and jump, And he was putting these shows on in these nondescript states that didn't have these commissions that could push these events. So this guy, he's losing money. He's losing a lot of money, bro. He's basically hemorrhaging money, and he came up with this brilliant idea, but he doesn't have the connections to make it happen. And because the Vegas Commission will not okay him. So the Fertittas at the time were on the board. The Fertittas, the guys, the money guys behind Dana, they were on the board. And I guess they were part of the reason. They were part of the people that were denying this guy from getting a license in Nevada. They were probably part of the whole operation. But what happens? They get Dana to approach him about buying it. The guy's hemorrhaging money, gives it up for nothing, $2 million, obviously. And what happens? You cannot own a company and then still be on the board. What happens? The Fertittas jump off the board once they buy it. They buy it on the Dana, they jump off the board. They have all their connections at the board. So the connections at the board, they have all their friends on the board. So their friends on the board are not going to turn it down now that the Fertittas are coming back, because everybody's friendly. It's a political game. So they jump off the board because they're not going to own the Fertitta. They're not going to own the UFC under Zuffa. They created Zuffa. And of course, Nevada okays the UFC, and from there, the rest is history. The guy who owned it originally, he just didn't have the connections. Is it a power move? Absolutely. Is it a scumbag move? Probably. Is it business? Yes. It's capitalist America. So it is what it is. But then on top of getting rich like that, like I said, you need the Ali Act because this guy was fucking his fighters so bad. Like at this point, you're raping your fighters so badly that now the Ali Act has to be enacted. How much money do you need? You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't they sell it for $4.4 billion? It's unbelievable, from $2 million to $4.4 billion.
Billions, man. Yeah,
so this guy made like $400 million when he was a fucking Taibo instructor from Boston, from what everybody tells me. You know what I'm saying? That was basically a Taibo instructor. You imagine? So I give him credit for the hustle. I give him credit for the hustle. But he could have done it in a more honorable way. You know what I'm saying? But of course, cream rises to the top. You have a chance now, once you are running this company, to show how honorable you can be. Maybe that was just a capitalist move and you can be honorable. Has he ever been honorable? No, he's a fucking scumbag. He underpays his fighters tremendously, fucks them over. Like I said in that other show, and you guys played the clip, I have never seen a single fighter that fought on the Dana White who liked Dana White, with the exception of Conor McGregor. So Conor McGregor is basically like the Uncle Tom of MMA fighters. Which is why I don't get it. Which is why I don't get how MMA fighters respect him and get his back, because basically this was a guy who came in, gained so much popularity, he could have made a difference in your world. Randy Couture is retired and he's fighting for the Ali Act to be enabled in MMA when it's not going to affect him. He's already been fucked over by this guy. So he was fighting for the Ali Act to be enacted even post-career because he just feels like it's the right thing to do. It's not even going to affect him to make financial money because he can't benefit from it. He's not fighting there anymore. But he was still trying to do it because he understands his brothers in arms, so to speak, are there. This piece of shit, though, he basically coddles up next to the guy fucking everybody and just could care less about the rest of the fighters. So for me, when you're in a position to do that, I speak out. In boxing injustice, I speak out when I feel it. I always speak my mind regardless, whether people like it or not. But I think when you're in a position to do that and you don't, I don't know. I think sometimes like in the world of politics, there's right and wrong, and there's people that think like, oh, this side's right and this side's right. They're really fighting with what they believe is right, though, at least. You know what I'm saying? Right. But in Dana White's case, there's absolutely no way anybody can see that he's right. Aside from being a fan, there's people that are fans of Dana White. I don't get it. I get you can like the way he promotes a fight. It's actually, he knows how to promote a fight, without a doubt. The guy knows how to promote a fight. But in the end, he's raping everybody. He's raping the fighters you love to root for. You know what I'm saying? He's raping the fighters that you love to root for, that when they're retired, they might have to go get a regular job. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fairness in that? You know, so those are my thoughts on why it took me a bit longer to circumvent the whole story, but that's the story.
No,
And that's
I
why
appreciate the fact,
that's why I can't respect it. Not to mention, not to harp on the Conor sparring, but after the Conor sparring, this guy came up to me basically blowing me. Like if I would have cooked my cock out after that sparring, he came up to me. Dana would have sucked my cock. You know what I mean? Like he came up to me like looking like, wow, that was amazing work. You know, thank you for coming here, even on short notice. Like it was like, and like I was like, yeah, you're welcome. You know, like I don't really want to engage the guy in conversation because I always thought he was a shady guy to begin with. Plus, I don't have to. But I was like, this guy went out of his way to come up to me to thank me for coming here and like basically started blowing me. Like I don't like you, bro. Get the fuck out of my face. Now I like him even less, obviously, because then he personally insulted me. But like, who the fuck likes you, bro? Like, I don't fight for you. I don't have to respect you. Some of these fighters, obviously, they're under contract with them. They have to be careful the way they speak around, bro. I don't have to care about anything, bro. I have a job regardless. You know what I mean? I make money regardless. I had a good career regardless. You know, so you're not affecting my money. I can speak about you the way I want to.
What I actually somebody in the chat popped this up. What are your thoughts on this comment from this fan? Just gonna throw it out.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's I think people. This is what I call like a McGregor groupie or fanboy, because McGregor, up until, if you remember, I mean, you keep up with the MMA media. Up until like a month ago, McGregor was mentioning my name. If you remember, you know, he was talking about boxing, he was talking about Pacquiao. So McGregor actually mentions me more than I mention him. Every time I mention McGregor, it's more of a retaliation. So consider this my last month's retaliation, because I have not yet responded about last month's comments McGregor made about me. And anytime I think I bring up McGregor, he's already spoken about me prior. So actually, get off my nuts, buddy. Get off my nuts and stop and wipe the cum out of your face, out of your eye when Conor gives you that facial, so that you get a clearer picture of the whole thing, because that's what you're doing. You got to stop blowing the guy.
Woo. Paulie Malignaggi, raw and uncut, uncensored.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing about these podcasts, right?
Yeah, that's why I like doing the podcast, man. I prefer to do podcasts, man, because you can say whatever you want.
You don't have the what is that thing that controls the radio? What is that organization called? I forget. You don't have to deal with them.
I don't give a fuck about them. That's why I do the podcast. It's just better. It's more freedom. We can do what we want.
Yep, absolutely.
What's coming up for you?
I mean, right now, nothing, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I mean, I've just been chilling. I've been in Florida for I got here March 9th, so I've been in Florida for a while. Just chilling. I spoke to my bosses last week, and they said that maybe in July, maybe they're going to be fights, because they made a good point. They said even if quarantine was to end the earliest mid-May, and the fighters are not able to train for a fight, you know, you might be keeping in shape, but training for a fight is different than keeping in shape. You got to spar, you got to actually do the physical groundwork. So even if quarantine was to end mid-May and guys to start sparring and training for camp, that means they're not going to be ready until at least July. So for me working, I don't think I'm going to have a broadcast that I'm working until about July or August. And from what I'm hearing, they might be with no fans, which is kind of a shame. But of course, it's better something than nothing. But it's kind of a shame, because I think both for the fans and for the fighters, the atmosphere really, really gives you the adrenaline rush. I mean, even if you're a fan, just seeing that atmosphere sometimes give you the adrenaline rush in the build-up to a fight, you know, in those last moments before the first bell, you know? So I think losing that kind of sucks. Yeah. But hey, what are we going to do? We're going to let these guys get old, and we're not going to get to enjoy their primes. You know, there's a lot of great fighters that are in their primes right now, and they deserve to be fighting.
100%. Who's the best boxer right now, pound for pound, in your eyes?
You know, I got a few that I look at. I look at Crawford and Lomachenko. For
Thank
me,
you, Terrence Crawford, favorites,
right? You know? Crawford, Lomachenko as well. You know, I look at those two as like probably the upper echelon and the best guys in the sport.
Paulie, do you know, like I have these conversations with people. Like I could go down a rabbit hole in boxing, and you know, I've been watching. I mean, I've been following Bud for maybe like the last 6-7 years, and I'm like, wow, this guy's different. You know, he's like, in my opinion, he's a guy that if he would have catch Floyd on the way out, he would have beat Floyd.
Yeah,
that's how.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I agree. Terrence has special traits, special qualities, special fighter, and he was always a good fighter. He was a good amateur. He actually, I think he lost in the Olympic trials to my friend Saddam Ali. Actually, Saddam ended up winning a world title, but obviously in the pros, Terrence kept maturing and just got to an altogether different level. And you know, it makes him really tough. He's just as good lefty as he is righty. I mean, so it's very, very tough. You know, so a terrific fighter. Him and Lomachenko too. For the MMA fans, I don't think people, maybe not all fans know this. You know, Lomachenko did sambo until he was about 15 years old.
That's
Then he had to choose.
I heard about that.
If there is a video, there's about a 10-minute video on YouTube. I don't know how you search it. I maybe put Sambo, Lomachenko, Sambo Judo, something like that. But you'll see like a whole 10-minute clip of Lomachenko as a child all the way up until he's like early teen years in Sambo tournaments. So he's nasty, bro. He's nasty. You see him like as a 6-year-old and he up until he's about 13, 14 in these highlights, and he's doing Sambo. He's doing Sambo Judo. So he did it for a long time. But I guess at a certain point he had to probably start to focus on one thing if he was gonna have success. So he chose boxing. But yeah, the guy's no joke. It'd be interesting. I think a lot of fans will like what a lot of MMA fans would enjoy that video.
Hell yeah, man. Paulie, I want to thank you so much, man, for taking the time to be on MMA Uncensored, man. This was a lot of fun.
No problem, man. No problem, man. It was a good chat. It was good.
We got so after everything is done and we're back to normal life, hopefully, we got some surprises that are coming up with this podcast. We like to call it Uncensored Live, but we're actually going to be doing live footage with fighters, professional fighters, where we're actually going out to sit down and eat and just bullshit. And we're going to have a camera crew with us and everything.
That's cool. And you get their reactions.
Yeah, just hanging out. Just hanging out. So we'd love to.
That's the best way when you're just kicking it like that. You get the most natural reactions.
Yes. So, you're definitely on the guest list, man. So I'd love to have you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you guys only in Florida? You guys going to go all over the place?
We're gonna go everywhere. We got quite a few sponsors that are sponsoring us now, so we're gonna fly out. A lot of different events we'll be at. So
good. Because I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida a lot, but no offense, bro. The summer in Florida is too much for me to deal with, bro.
Brutal, bro.
If in my best world, I would be in New York or in Sicily in the summer. But I don't know if Sicily is gonna be a great idea with how big coronavirus hit Italy.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
That's pretty bad, man. But my thoughts and prayers with your family. Stay safe.
Thank you.
And,
you too, man. Thank you.
It was a pleasure, brother.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
Take care,
All right, good stuff.
Bye. Paulie Malignaggi, ladies and gentlemen, that was a blast. Paulie's a great guy. Say what you like about him, but he's just got a lot of information on boxing. He's one of the best in the world as a boxing analyst. So thank you guys for tuning in for Paulie. And right now I have our next guest, who I'm very excited to talk to. She is from the hit series on Netflix, The Circle. She was pretty much, in my opinion, the star of this whole thing. I want to get her on here right now, Miss Sammie Cimarelli. Sammie.
Hi.
Hey, there we go. Now I hear you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great, thank you. So how's quarantine life treating you these days?
Yeah, I'm over it. I just want to go to the beach so bad. That's all I want to do.
Are you in Miami?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How has Miami been during this quarantine? Has it been a lot of people in the street, or has it been kind of low key?
No, the streets have kind of been empty, but I feel like people have just been taking advantage of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to open up some parks and like beaches last week, but I guess people weren't following the rules, so they closed it back down again. But I still see on Instagram and stuff, people are out and with each other, but I know a lot of stuff is still closed. The beaches are closed, so it sucks.
Are you practicing social distancing?
I haven't left my house in like 2 months.
No way.
I mean, I left the house. I went to the post office like maybe 3 times, and I went to Publix once. But yeah, no, I don't leave the house.
Smart. So, I mean, does that give you a lot of time to talk to people, social media, and like do business and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in school, so most of the time, like my days are filled with homework and stuff. But
okay.
Today I officially finished my semester, so I have like maybe like 10 days of no homework, and then I have to start my summer semester.
So you mean to tell me that you finished your semester on Taco Tuesday / Cinco de Mayo or Cinco de Quarantine?
I did.
What are you going to school for?
Behavior analysis.
Okay, that's right. I remember you had mentioned that on the show. You were in school.
Yeah, I'm getting my master's.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So The Circle, this show, great show. I watch it. Actually, the funny part is we chatted a little bit, I think, through email about it, but your aunt is coincidentally my friend on Facebook, and she started promoting the show. Hey, check out my niece. She's on the show, The Circle on Netflix. Now, I watch Netflix, And I seen it, you know, I'm like, let me check this show out, you know, and I got hooked right away. I thought it was so cool the way, you know, the whole game show is and everything. Obviously you were like the, you know, one of the highlights of the show, you know, you're right in the beginning, a lot of people talking about you, had the really sexy pictures of yourself up, and, you know, yeah, like Joey Sasso going nuts, and the other guys like, oh my God. So how did you get involved? Like, how did this all come about for you?
So I guess I had filled out an application like through my email. So I mean, I've gotten like a bit of the story from the producers and some of the people that work the show. So they sent out like a mass email to people, and like they have a hookup to Instagram to where like people can like when producers and stuff, they can run it through like a system or something. I don't know what it's called, but it brings up all the Instagrams that have people's emails connected to their Instagrams. You know how like on Instagram you can click like email to email somebody or contact somebody. So then they sent out a mass email. I guess I was one of those people, and I guess I filled it out. Don't remember filling it out, but I got a call a couple months later, and they were like, "Hey, we loved your application. We're filming for a show. We would love to have you on it." And it kind of just was like a domino effect after that. It was like interview after interview, and then somehow I was in an apartment.
How many interviews did you have to go through?
So I went through one like original one. It was a Skype interview. I never auditioned for the show. I just had one Skype interview, and then they like they put it all into one like short clip. Like it was like a 2-hour long Skype, but it came into like 2 minutes, and they present that to the production company, and then after that, the next time I had like not an interview but meeting people was when I flew to LA. I met like the psychiatrist or the psychologist, and I met the executives of the show, and they interviewed me like personally and face to face, which is scary. I guess to find out like if they really wanted me on the show or not. And then after that, yeah.
So what was that like when you had to go face to face? Like, were they asking you like a bunch of different questions about just like yourself and what you would do if you got casted to be on the show?
Yeah, honestly, it was really quick. And I had waited the whole entire day. I remember I waited the whole day. And when we were like in LA prepping like for those interviews for those 3 days, we were on lockdown then too, like the same as if we were in the circle. So like I couldn't watch like certain television shows. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have my computer. Like I didn't have anything. It was just me in a hotel room, like with nothing to do.
Wow. And it's like being in quarantine in a way.
Yeah, it was for 3 days. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like dying here. And so I remember like being in the room, and the two executives walk in, they sit down, and they were like so nice, like not anything that I was expecting. But they were so sweet. They were just asking like questions and asking if I was going to be a catfish or if I was going to be myself, why I was going to be myself. And yeah, pretty much just like what my game plan is, my personality, which I like showed them my personality because they would ask like funny questions and stuff. And yeah, so after that, I think I like bought. It was just sold. We follow each other on Instagram now. Okay.
Amazing. You guys are besties now. So like that's pretty cool. I mean, like, what was that like? You know, when you got the call, they casted you. Like, how, you know, were you excited? Were you nervous? What was going on in your mind?
So actually, I found out like 3 days before flying to London, or like 4 days before flying to London. And I was, so what they have you do is like, you have to sign a bunch of like legal documents and stuff, of course. Okay. And they make you go on a Skype call with one of the producers, and they read you the entire document. You know how long and annoying that is? It's like 45 minutes. Like,
yeah.
And I have to answer, like, it's quick though, but like they try and make it as quick as possible, but they have to record the call and everything to show that like we're agreeing to this, you know, because it's intense. I can imagine like people probably are like going crazy now with quarantine and stuff, but the circle is way different. Like you can't leave at all. You can't even go outside. Like you can't open the doors. You can't open the windows. So you have LED lights on at all times. Like it's so much harder than everyone's going through now.
So like if you're hungry, someone bring you food, like somebody that works on set, like they hook you up behind the scenes?
Yeah. So there was 9 cameras in my apartment. They each had a microphone on it. And so like they could hear me. And I'd be like, oh, I want like shrimp, or weekly they would do like grocery shopping for us though. So like we
give them like a list or something.
Yeah, I would give them a list of like stuff that I want. And then like if I wanted certain stuff, like they would just bring it to me.
Liquor too? Like if you want a boost, they get you that too?
No, I mean, so
that would have been the first thing on my list.
since it was filmed in the UK, like they're very different. They're not into like, you know how like US drama shows, they're kind of like really like a lot of drama and like it gets a little bad. They're not like that in the UK. So that's why our show is so nice and like sweet. And like it had drama, but wasn't like nasty drama, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
it was more like for the game.
Yeah, and they didn't want us to be drunk or like, you know, act out and be like
not like the Jersey Shore, basically.
Yeah, they didn't want it to like be distasteful. Is that a word? Yeah.
It is a good word.
So they didn't want it to be like that. So they would allow like 2 beers a day, or like the party, like the dance party that they had. Like they gave me tequila, but it was like
just a wee bit.
And when they gave it to me too, they came over because they had a loudspeaker in the apartment, and they came on the loudspeaker and they were like, "Don't drink it all at one time, please." And I was like,
"Oh no, I would have chugged that."
It was big. It was a shot. It was 2 shots. So I was like, I wasn't feeling it anyway, but yeah. So it was cool. So I was on FaceTime.
Did you tell them like, "Hey, I'm from Miami. I can handle my stuff here"?
Of course, they knew They knew my whole life before I even got to London. Let's be real. But yeah, so I was on FaceTime and they were reading the disclosures and stuff like that. And as we're in the FaceTime, me and the producer who were on FaceTime, me and him and another woman working for the circle, we were all in a group chat. And we were both on FaceTime and like the message came down and she was like, "We officially just found out Sammie's flying to London." So it was like 3 days before I was actually leaving. So yeah, I found out as I'm on the disclosure. So they probably have a video of me like reading the disclosure. I'm like, like freaking out. So yeah, it was crazy. I was so excited.
You know, I about 2 months ago, I sat down and interviewed Miranda. She was on the podcast, and we had a great time. Super sweet, real nice girl. I think she was in Hawaii for her birthday. She was celebrating out there. Yeah. What's that?
She lives there now. She just moved there.
She ended up moving there. You know, what's funny? When I was interviewing, I was like, "Would you move there?" And she's like, "Well, you know, I'm in." She was in Lake something. I forget where. Somewhere in California. I forget Lake something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, "Yeah, you know, she's like, it's so beautiful here. I would consider, you know, moving here." And I'm like, and now she's there. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. She moved with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend lives there. So she actually, like, I was just talking to her the other day, and we just got an apartment like maybe 4 days ago.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Even through quarantine. Good for her.
I know.
So yeah, when I was talking to her, she brought something up. I had to ask her this question because I was curious about it. I'm like, did you feel that the people that came in later in the game had a disadvantage because the people that were there from the get, they were able to establish those relationships early on? What do you think about that?
I don't know, because after filming ours, like the minute I got home, I watched the season 1 and 2 of the UK version because I had never seen them before ours. Okay. So like I did nothing. So, and they wouldn't let us watch it in the UK, which was so annoying. So I got to watch it when I came back. The season 2 winner came in like last. He was like one of the last people to come in. So I wouldn't say that they have, ever since like seeing that, when people ask me this question, I'm like, no, I don't think that they have a disadvantage, because at the end of the day, like, people's minds can change and things can change. So I guess it all depends. For our season specifically, I would say, yeah, people definitely had a disadvantage because early on, and there was a lot that they didn't show, and there's a lot that they edit out and stuff, but early on, like, our little clique was already like formed, you know what I mean? Okay. So it was kind of like we already knew. And I remember just telling myself, which they never showed, but every time I like ratings and stuff, I would be like, they better not put someone new at the top, because I will be so mad. They do not deserve this, especially because when I first got there, I went through so much bull crap that I like wish never happened. But I mean, I wouldn't change the experience for anything. Yeah. So
Shuby was he was up there a lot. Shuby was killing it during the show. I saw that.
He was sweet, and he was so honest all the time.
No, I thought that was pretty cool. What did you think when they had the final 5 in the room? You know, now you're going to meet these people for the first time. Like, what was like the biggest shocker to you?
Oh my God, I don't know. I was like so scared. It was such a scary moment. And you know what's so funny? You know how on the show, like they say like, oh, you guys are gonna meet each other like face to face, like go get ready, whatever. We didn't meet for another like 8 hours after that message came up on the television. So like for 8 hours, I'm like pacing around my apartment. Like I did my makeup, my hair, like everything. I was like sitting on my bed waiting for like 3 hours, like, yeah, like what's going on? And so it was just a mess. But yeah, I was so scared. I was so scared. And the first person I see when I open the door is Shubham. And I look at him, and so like I smile or whatever, and then he tells me it's Rebecca. Like I didn't really get to guess. He was like, Rebecca. So I was like, oh shit. But then that was really it. I mean, everyone looked exactly like how their pictures were. So I wasn't really surprised. It was fun though.
Did you think you were gonna win the show?
No. I mean, to be real, I don't know, because I never thought about it. Because I never had the money. I genuinely never had the thought of money or winning amount of money until the finale. Like we're sitting there and they're like showing the ratings up on the board. Like I never thought about the money. And it's so funny because when I talked to the other contestants, they were like, you know, that's all I thought about was doing this for, you know, like when things would get hard, because sometimes it would just get really, really tough and like you want to give up, you want to go home. And like money would keep people motivated, and I was just so not.
But you know, you really won in the end because I mean, your social media is blown up. I mean, congratulations, you just got 1 million followers this week, which is amazing. Would you ever think in 1 million years, you know, you did a TV show, and now even though you didn't win the show, you're definitely the most popular one out of everybody on the show because you got the biggest following out of everybody. So you're the biggest winner, really.
Yeah, it's cool. It's amazing. I mean, I genuinely didn't know what to expect at all, to be completely honest with you. Like once filming was over and we all got to talk to each other, we never really talked about filming or like what we thought was going to happen. We kind of were just like, can't wait to see you guys again. Like we really wanted to hang out. Everyone came to Miami. So they had a week here and we like all celebrated and stuff, but I didn't have any expectations. And so I feel like that's probably the best part of it, is that all this stuff is happening and I'm just like, wow, it's crazy. I didn't expect any of it, but I love it.
Oh man, it is amazing. And it's cool to see, because I remember like when I was watching the show, you know, I was watching you and Joey and the whole gang, and you know, I was checking you guys out on Instagram. I was like, oh, check them out. And I saw, I think at the point when I first saw you on IG, you had like 100,000, you know, followers, and now you're at 1 million. I mean, it's just great. So like, you know, for you, you know, having that kind of experience, has it been like overwhelming to get such a big following so fast? Or is it just something that like you're just embracing and you got like wrapped up in it and it's like, it's just been an amazing thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the beginning it was overwhelming. And to be completely honest, like in the beginning, I mean, even now, I've rarely seen any hate comments or like negative things about me. I've seen a lot of positive stuff about me, which is really great. And I like my other castmates can't say that, so I'm very grateful for that. But I was very sensitive in the beginning. I mean, think about it, like in 4 months, over 1 million people are following me. That's crazy to think about, and to think about over 1 million people are seeing like the stories that I post and the pictures that I post and the comments that they can leave, like literally so available to social media right now. And so like, it was very scary in the beginning. And one little comment, like I could have 1 million of beautiful comments about how like amazing I am, and one person saying something bad about me, I'd be like, great, I'm going to go cry in my room for 3 days.
That's what they want. You know, that's what haters want. You know, they want to like ruin your good time. You know, you just got to shake it off.
Yeah, that's what I had to get used to. So like the first month, actually, I would say the first like 2 weeks was really, really hard, like really difficult. And but then after, like now, I'm like, well, I don't care. Like I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. I mean, you
feel about it.
Have so much success going for you. It's amazing. You know, what have you noticed? Like, so now you got this big following. You know, like what's been happening for you? Have been getting a lot of companies reaching out to you to do promotions, and and shares and to get, help other people's followers? What kind of stuff has been coming across your way?
Yeah, pretty much all of it. Anything that you can think of come my way. Like before all, like the pandemic happened, of course, like so many crazy stuff I had planned. Like I was doing probably every Pride that you can think of. Like I was supposed to go to Houston Pride. I was supposed to do Miami Pride. I luckily got to go to Cape Coral like maybe a week before the pandemic got really like deep.
Right.
So I got to do Cape Coral Pride luckily. And but yeah, I had so many events and charities. Like I had like 4 trips planned to LA. It was crazy, but now everything's canceled. But
Yes.
I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given. I'm still being given opportunities now, and it was very overwhelming. But it's finally like cool now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still getting people reaching out and wanting giving me opportunities, but it's just settled now because I have an agent finally who's like going through all my stuff, and she's absolutely amazing. And so yeah, it's been working out.
So now you got all this great stuff going on for you. Got you're on this great show, got a huge following, got all these opportunities. You're going to school, get your master's. I mean, I think I commend you for that. I know it's a lot of work. I do it myself, so I know what you're going through. We're going to school full time. I go to school full time myself too. So yeah, I'm actually going for my master's too in information technology management. And so I'm doing the online school, working a full-time job, doing the podcast on the side. So I know how it is to be busy, so I can speak your language for sure. I don't have the 1 million followers though. But so now, like, do you have anything like coming out the gate, like after all this is said and done? Do you have anything that's lined up right now?
Well, I just dropped a bunch of merchandise, so that's going like really, really well. I was not expecting it to go as well as it has been. So I dropped that. I have more like things coming out. We have some Pride merchandise that's coming out soon, and some other like outfits, and so that's probably what I'll be working on now, and that's really it. I mean, I'm also hosting. I'm one of the hosts for Pride this weekend. It's Florida Pride, so all the like cities are kind of coming together, like Palm Beach, Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale. Like we're all coming together, and they're hosting a huge live Pride. So we're going to be doing that, and I'm so excited. That's going to be so fun.
Oh, that's awesome. You got to let me know, and I'll share it through my feed so people know how to check that out.
For sure.
That's amazing. So now that you said you had an agent, so like is your agent like booking you for like acting stuff or TV stuff, or how does that work?
See, that's the thing. Like people think because of the show I'm an actor, but I've never acted a day in my life. Like I'm not an actress. I mean, I would love to do it. I would love to like take acting lessons and stuff, but I've never done anything like that. So no, I haven't been doing anything, and I'm also still in contract with Netflix until next year, so I can't do any TV.
Really? So now, like, are you going to do something else with Netflix, or is it, or like, do they have like little jobs that you do like for them, like TV spots?
No, I would love to do that. But yeah, I don't really know. I think it's just like a no television contract, of course, unless like Netflix wants me to do something for them. But so my agent pretty much does like the promotions and collaborations throughout my Instagram and my social media.
Okay.
So like, he handles like my Instagram, my Twitter, and my TikTok, like all that stuff.
That's awesome. I'm gonna need one of those. So it's crazy. Great. It's too much work.
I love her. Yeah, it gets easier because like some companies, like if they get a response from me, they try and take advantage of me. For instance, like smaller companies who want me to like promote their stuff, and they're like, I'm a small company, I'll send you my stuff and you just post it for free. So it's like,
yeah,
I just give it to her and she like handles it better. It's way better than me saying stuff to people.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think you handle it well. I mean, we've communicated through email, and it's been great. And you're very professional. So I want to thank you for being professional. I deal with a lot of people, so some are a little rougher around the edges, to say it in a politically correct way, but and others are professional, and you're definitely professional. I know we tried getting this podcast a while ago, right? We're talking a long time.
It came out like back in January, and my calling me and being like, "Oh, like, this guy's going to email you. He wants you to be on the podcast, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm down, whatever. And then we talked about it, and I forget what happened. But
Super Bowl. You had the Super Bowl stuff going on.
Oh, it was so much fun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how was that? What did you was like a Super Bowl party or something like that?
So crazy. So I worked Barstool,
Okay.
Barstool Sports. Yeah, so I worked like a huge event for them in Miami. And then I worked at SLS. I worked for another big company, and SLS hosted like one of the biggest parties in South Beach for Super Bowl.
Wow.
So it was absolutely nuts. I met like every famous person that you could think of.
Who was the coolest one you met?
French Montana and DJ Khaled.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Khaled's down here a lot.
They're so much fun.
That's amazing stuff. Yeah, I was like, because we had to go, but I was like, no, do what you got to do, make your money, do your thing, get yourself out there. I totally understand. But yeah, I was like, oh man, too bad. But here we are, 5 months later, right? 4 months later, we still make it happen. That's right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Sam. Is there anything you want to let the world know? Because I'm going to bomb this thing out, and a lot of people are going to get to see this. So anything, any sponsors, any companies, anything at all, let it out.
Me. That's it. Just me.
Right there. Hold on. Right there. Follow Sammie on IG.
All of it's the same. My social media, my Instagram, my Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all of it's Sammie tag. So it's pretty easy to find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sammie. This was great talking to you. I was really looking forward to this.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'll be in touch. I'll shoot you an email this week, and I'll get some clips out to you.
All right. Thank you.
You got it. And stay safe during this quarantine, and happy Cinco de Mayo.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, girls, thank you for tuning in tonight. MMA Uncensored, episode 6 with Paulie Malignaggi and Sammie from this awesome show called The Circle on Netflix. You got to check it out and check her out. She got 1 million followers. I mean, she's really popular and very nice girl. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Next week, stay tuned. We got a very, very, very special guest coming on. Not going to believe it. I can't believe it, but it's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to announce that to you guys. But again, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe. I hope everybody, you and your family, are doing great. For anybody that's been affected by this disease, my thoughts and prayers are with all of you guys and your family. God bless you all. And, I'm just hoping for a speedy recovery for anybody that's been, affected with this virus. And, just follow the rules, guys. I know it sucks. We got to stay home, Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday. It is what it is. But I really do hope that, we get through this thing and we stay safe, follow the rules. And before you know it, we'll be, back out in the streets wreaking havoc and watching some fights. But it's fight week, baby. Get ready. Tony Ferguson. It's going to be good. So thank you again, guys. God bless you and have a great night.